So in this video, we're going to look at graphs of trigonometric functions again. All right, so let's look at what we're given today. So we're asked to graph this function y equals negative cosine of 3x minus 3 pi over 4. Okay, so let's see what we can do. The first thing we can do is let's factor out this 3 in the bracket. So when we do that, what do we get? We get negative cosine of, in brackets 3, times in brackets x minus pi over 4. Okay. All right, so why do we do this? We do this to try and figure out what all our transformations are on our parent function. So our parent function is y equals cos x. Okay. So if we notice, we have a few different transformations. We have this negative sign here. We have this 3, and then this pi over 4. This negative sign, what does it do? It it reflects our parent function y equals cos x vertically in the x-axis. The 3, what does it do? It creates a horizontal compression by a factor of 3. And the pi over 4, what does it do? It's a translation to the right pi over 4 units. So now let's have a look at what y equals cos x. Let's have a look at what that graph looks like. And again, we'll only look at one period. So we'll just do a quick sketch of y equals cos x. So again, what's the period of cos x? It's 2 pi. And now we're going to divide 2 pi into 4 equal intervals. Pi over 2, pi, and 3 pi over 2. And what's the amplitude of cos x? It's 1. So when x equals 0, cosine is 1. When x is pi over 2, cosine is 0. At pi, it's -1. 3 pi over 2, it's 0 again, and then back to 1 at 2 pi. Then we can join the dots, pretty close to joining the dots with a nice curve, and that's what our cosine function looks like. So our parent function. So this is the function that we have to perform these 3 transformations to. So this horizontal compression by a factor of 3, this is going to change our periods. How does it change the period? So our new period is the old period divided by this compression factor, so by 3. So that's our new period. That means we need to compress this curve that we just drew, this nice red curve. We need to compress it into 2 pi over 3, an interval of 2 pi over 3 radians. So let's see if we can draw that. All right. So again, let's put some axes in. And again, our new period is 2 pi over 3. And we're going to divide it up into 4 equal intervals. And these intervals are pi over 6, pi over 3, and pi over 2. And of course, we start at 0. Again, our amplitude is the same, 1. Okay. So that's our period. Our period has been condensed, but now the pi over 4, that's a translation to the right pi over 4 units. So now, before we do that, why don't we just draw in our new compressed curve. Okay. New compressed cosine curve. So this red curve is y equals cosine 3x. Okay, So next we're going to apply the translation to the right pi over 4 units. So this means we need to take every point and move it over pi over 4 units. So if we do that, 0 now ends up, let's use a different color. Shall we use a different color? Ends up here, pi over 4. Pi over 6 is moved over pi over 4 units, and it becomes 5 pi over 12. Pi over 3 moves over pi over 4 units, and we end up at 3 pi over 4, or 9 pi over 12. What do we have next? Sorry, not yet. We're at 7 pi, my mistake. 7 pi over 12. Pi over 2 ends up moving over to 3 pi over 4, or 9 pi over 12. And finally, it looks like we're running out of axis here. Let's put in a little bit more. 2 pi over 3, when we move it to translate it to the right pi over 4 radians, we end up at 11 pi over 12 radians. So this means each of these points moves over pi over 4 radians. So if we do that, am I missing some points here? Yes. I feel like I'm missing something. Okay, there. Sometimes it's hard to keep track with all these points. There we go. All right, so now we have a new curve. We take, well, not this. There. We join our green dots together. This green curve is y equals cos 3 times x minus pi over 4. Okay. All right, so we're not done yet because we need to consider the reflection in the x-axis now. All right, let's use a new color for that. Let's use a nice purple. So now we're going to take all these green points and we're going to reflect them in the x-axis. So this one up here gets reflected down here to -1. The 0 stays where it is. The -1 gets reflected back up to +1. 0, and again -1. So now we have our purple curve. And this is our final curve. This is our function y equals negative cos of 3 times x minus pi over 4. Good. All right, so that brings us to the end of our session. So if you have any questions, give us a shout at info@raisemymarks.com or give us a call day or evening, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.